I like the term uh, that you get to, not that you have to. This is what I get to do. I I think that's an amazing way of looking at things, and I
It,
think
it
that
just puts you in a
if it
different
can be looked
mindset.
at, if it can be looked at in parenting as well, it's like I don't have to be a parent. I get to be a parent. In many cases, you do have
Yeah,
to
I
be a
get to be a
parent, but
father.
if you can
You
look
get to
at
be
it,
a
I get to
husband.
be a parent. Yeah,
Yeah, you get to if you choose if there's a woman or a man on this planet that says, "Hey, I'm trusting you," because think about it. At night, if you physically want to roll over and let's say stab your wife, you're not gonna do that. But there has to be some level of trust. Like my wife could
yeah,
physically poison me. She brings me stuff to drink. There's trust. And if you
exactly.
can find somebody that trusts you that much, hey, you get to be a part of something great and better
Yeah,
than just yourself. You don't
yeah.
have to do. I don't have to take. Listen, I don't have to do nothing if I don't want to.
Next thing, whatever that is. My final piece of advice to someone who is stuck is just don't be. And that's oversimplified, but that's how I see it. Don't be stuck. When I have my students who are they're having writer's block, I just tell them to start writing. And they're well, Mr. Craig, what do we write about? Uh, you just write. Get your mind out of the way and just start writing. You can start off with what you had for breakfast, write that down and how that made you feel, and then you drove down the street. Just start writing. Eventually, you're going to have that writing process, and it'll transform into something else. But to get past that being stuck, just don't be. Just get started doing. You might not even know what you're doing, but just don't. Dash, I can't tell you how many times. This may sound odd, might not give people confidence in the military, but there was at least 4 times where I was put in a position in the military that I was learning while I was doing this position. Someone saw something in me, but I wasn't ready for that position, or at least I didn't have everything I thought I needed to know to go into that position. But I wasn't turning one of them down. I was not turning down that next leadership opportunity that was given to me just because I didn't have this one thing or that other thing. I was going to do it. And I'm going to put forth the effort to learn everything that I need to know. But instead of being stuck, just don't be. Just get out there and do it.
Well, it comes down to you have to and you get to. There's nothing in your life right now where you have to do anything. Your
Yeah.
mentality is, I get to be this professional and help share in this whole process of buying a home. You get to experience and walk with someone, whether it's their first, second, third home or rental property, whatever have you, as opposed to, I need to make this sale so I can make this money. Again, that's what financial freedom does for you. That's what
Yeah.
financial literacy does for you. It puts you, it makes you see opportunities completely different. You don't have to be a real estate agent or realtor. You get to do this.
Yeah.
You get to be an instructor.
Yeah.
Financially, you're set without any one of these things. All you gotta do is wake up every day and you're set financially.
Yes.
And your
Yeah.
wife is a GS-12. So all of these things, again, it's about not having a scarcity mindset, and I think you embody that pretty well.
Start their day off making 100 phone calls. It's an actual technique that we teach people. 100 phone calls to start your day off. That's a lot of rejection to start your day. Can you imagine starting your day daily, starting your day with rejection, 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 rejection? Uh, so then, how do you deal with that? How do you help realtors go through those kind of tough times? And let's say they did all of that stuff. They went through 100 calls. They got 2 transactions out of that, and then those 2 transactions fall apart. They don't even make it to get to a paycheck. It's tough. It's hard. They go through those tough times. They can't pay their bills now. They can't feed their families. How do you deal with that? Well, there was no programs there. There was nothing set up for realtors to be able to be resilient so that when they encountered those things, they already had the tools to deal with them. In the Army, we teach soldiers all the time about how to build these skills so that when you encounter a difficult time, you're able to be resilient through those things. And quite often, it doesn't just help you get through it, you're even better after the process. You learned from it, you grew from it. Instead of it breaking you, it made you better in the end.
The military into where you're at right now.
Yeah. I think it was the preparation. I don't feel like I struggled, but it wasn't because it was just easy. It's the preparation piece that makes it a little bit less difficult. So uh, again, listening to all those mentors and then setting things up, and there was a little bit of anxiety about how things are going to be once you leave the military, because if you're a soldier for that long, 3 decades of being a soldier, going into a new style of living, a new chapter in your life can be a little bit daunting, but if you've done the preparation for it, it doesn't feel that bad. By becoming a realtor before I retired, it allowed me to get my feet wet in it and then become proficient at it before I actually retired. But you and I went through the fellowship program. We both became Penn State graduates with our masters in education, and that set me up to teach here at the Sergeant Majors Academy. So while I'm a realtor, I am still an instructor here at the Sergeant Majors Academy, and advice of someone who I was watching a podcast online, an individual saying, have you been writing a book for a couple of years now? You're like, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on to publish this book? He says, just publish the book. He says, your first book is going to be horrible. Just get it out of the way, get it done. So I went through and I got the book done to the best of my ability, and I'm proud of this book. But I also see where my next book is going to be better, and I'm ready to get to that, right? I want to get to these next skills because they're different from the ones that are in this current book, but I also want to be better at the process of writing the book.
Family.
I have dreams, even I'll be 60 years old coming up here in August. And even as an old man, I have dreams, and I'm still chasing dreams. Just don't let your dreams die. Whatever your dreams are, go and follow them, chase them, and achieve those dreams.
Man, I love that. Love it, brother. Well, listen, guys, y'all heard it here first from Brother Craig, Roger Craig, Mr. Craig, whatever you want to call him. I just call him Brother Craig because he's been like a brother to me since we first connected at the Sergeant Major Academy in the Army. So I will make sure y'all have his information. Again, if you're a first-time home buyer, you want to get into real estate, or you just want to have a conversation with an individual who is doing things, who consistently pushes himself for greatness, reach out to him.
The biggest concern that I hear about is that buying a house costs too much. But the reality is you're paying for a house. If you're renting a property, you're paying for that house, and you're probably paying more than what that person's mortgage is. If you had simply gotten the mortgage yourself, you would be paying less per month than what you're paying for rent, in most cases, or in many cases. The biggest challenge that we have is if you're going to pay rent, you simply have to have first month, last month's deposit, and then maybe another pet deposit if you have pets. So you're getting into a rental property with $4,000 out of pocket. But when you're buying a property, even with a VA no money down loan, there's still fees that go along with that. You're coming out of pocket with a lot more money substantially, right? But let's say you're not a veteran, it is a lot of money. So the initial upfront money to buy a property can be a problem for many people. But once you sit down with a professional, there's ways to get assistance with that as well. So especially if you're a first-time home buyer, getting into a property for you to live so that you can start building equity in your own home, which over time is going to be a lot more money for you. And then in some cases, you can even tap into that equity if you need to. That's a lot longer conversation. But for building wealth over time, getting into your property